Welcome back to One Time Power TV, where we discuss real stories, real issues, lifestyle and entertainment across Africa. Hashtag SADC, hashtag Zambia, hashtag Zimbabwe. So today I brought you good news, guys. So I'm not going to say much, but I just want us to watch this video and react and share our comments and views. Please guys, let's not forget to subscribe One Time Power TV, where we'll be discussing what stories, guys. So today mabwana, my guys anga pa zedi na bwela na good news, guys. So tien tuone che kuti zaenda bwanje. Tien guys, let's watch.
So the first question that I want to bring to your attention, I'm sure you already know what is currently happening in Zambia. The back and forth between the government and the Lungu family and the AF party. We barely talk about politics, yes, but I'm sure your contribution to this matter can bring a bit of light and can shed more light to those who are stuck in between the political parties they belong to. Because what is really creating a rift between the Zambians at the moment is the fact that others are pledging their loyalty to HH, others their loyalty to the former president Edgar Lungu. So their judgment is kind of delusioned, and their judgment is kind of skewed based on who they support and who they are rooting for. That's why they are having a challenge coming to a conclusion that is best for the nation. But every argument is based on who they support, who they like, and who they root for. So in this matter, let's just scrape the surface. Where do you think President Lungu should be buried? Where should he be buried, and why?
President Lungu should be buried in Zambia. And here is why. Because he's a former head of state in Zambia. When you become a head of state, in some way, you belong to the state. So what is happening here is we have a family, which is the Lungu family, which is, in my view, influenced by a political party, which is PF. That causes a problem in that the PF party, instead of persuading the Lungu family, they are egging the Lungu family to pull away or to be at loggerheads with HH as a person. Because the personal grievance here is not with the Zambian people per se. It is neither with the party that HH represents, but it's a personal tiff between what they say Lungu stood for and what HH stood for. These personal differences should be put aside, and when the personal differences are put aside, a national concern which is there at this stage is to bury a former president. Why PF comes up and starts creating all these scenarios is perhaps to have this as a springboard for a political campaign. So to have these divisions that are dividing the nation instead of uniting the nation at this time in their mourning and in their grief, they should stand together and bury their former head of state, whether they loved him or loathed him. They should stand together at this time and bury a head of state, which is Lungu. If for any reason Lungu is buried in South Africa, as what PF is suggesting, and saying and hiding under this family, that the family, this is the family's desire. What is actually the family's desire? Does the family desire to have him buried in South Africa, or the family desires to have him buried in Zambia minus the presence of HH? When you dig deep, you'll find that the family wants him buried in Zambia, albeit a private ceremony. This is not new to us as Zimbabweans. We saw this happening in Zimbabwe when Robert Mugabe died. He died in Singapore. He was brought back to Zimbabwe. There was a tiff between what was what was viewed as the family of the president, saying we don't want him buried at the National Heroes Acre. And the reason why they refused him burial, that they refused for him to be buried at the Heroes Acre, is because they had a difference with the current president, Emerson Mnangagwa, which was a personal thing. It was not national. It is personal. So these heads of state are not the same as you and I, Prof X. They're not the same. They are accorded a different status as head of state. There is something within each nation's constitution that allows for these people to be set apart as heads of state and buried in a certain way with dignity and the necessary salutation that goes with that.
Okay guys, rero nzaponzera kukamba nyanja because I know a bit of nyanja but not 100%. So guys, muona bwanji iyi ka discussion akamukaona bwanji mzafaka ma comments guys. Nkareko na ka piece kaja ma guys anga hapa. Funa tikamsane ko bwino che tuonesane che ma facts tabwera na ma facts atu guys ayi. Taonesana ma guys abakamba vao. Me I can't say much but this is what I'm thinking. So let's watch the video and then we drop our comments. Let's not forget to subscribe and comment, and then let's follow Dream Builders guys. These guys wana maploti diva, maploti pakafio, maploti azapeze kadiva. Ifufuna plot ni kuniuza che wabara ku inbox kwanga. Ifufuna nyumba che kuniuza che na kupasa ma numbers. Laka guys, mastenda ripo makeni, mastenda riko kafiwe ni paway bridge paja. Mastenda ripo diva guys. Zakambi sana che wazungu, zakambi sana che wazungu. Mfuna mbwere mo.
Recognition that goes with that. The military gun salutes and all that, a state accorded funeral, a state funeral. So what is a state funeral? You then find that a state funeral is something that will be headed by the head of state. So what they don't want is they don't want HH coming in to head this. But constitutionally, they cannot say, we don't want you there, but we want a state funeral. So they can have a private funeral then, but bury Lungu in Zambia. You cannot, these guys from the PF, cannot now want to put Lungu in exile in his death for political reasons that they think would springboard their political party back into power. With the promise here that they are giving, a lot of people are missing. They are saying Lungu would be then brought back. Once the PF party wins, they'll bring Lungu back and bury him in Zambia. What's the point? Just bury him in Zambia. They are eating away at the dignity of a man that deserves to be buried with dignity. Right now he's lying in a mortuary in South Africa. It's undignified. And again, I think South Africa is making a mess of this by actually entertaining this sort of thing. They should have just said, well, we have no jurisdiction to actually be bringing this. I know that in South Africa, it was actually the Zambian government that went to prevent the burial of Lungu in South Africa by taking them to court. Imagine this. You and your family have a dispute over how to bury, and then you go next door and say, I'll bury this person next door, and the neighbors entertain that. The neighbors should be the ones saying, no, this is not our business, this is Zambian business, and Zambia is a sovereign, and as a sovereign you guys must go there and deal with this issue yourselves. South Africa should have said, should have not even entertained this in South African courts. Right now we have Dudula in South Africa there. People are actually removing people that are leaving and saying you don't belong here. Why are they giving this guy space to be buried in a place that's not his, where he's got all this land that he can be buried in his own Zambia? He's a Zambian. Let's not deny him that honor. As an African, as a Pan-Africanist, as a person that comes from Southern Africa, I think it's a shame.
And guys, vazona nona ko cheni mugai gai afuna che abwere che. Ujani chipondo afuna che abwere pa zedi. Waigwira. I'm not going to say much, but iri che mushe che muntu akabwera pa bond che waigwira. Guys funa tikamsana vazona peace ifuneka che, peace che tiri pa Africa che. Me I'm fellow Pan-African. So what it is, guys, let's be realistic here. If you're an African, you're an African, son of the soil. Ubuntu ufuneka. Ubuntu, you know, African, we need that Ubuntu. We need to have that ka humanity kaja. Ko gwirizana che vantu mukamisana vazoona muonesana che boy apo enda kwa wrong apa boy tufuna tiende so che tn tufuna ko che ija yo gwirizana che Africa, one love, one Africa, tikamba che one Zambia, one nation. So that's only thing that we need to focus on. One Zambia, one nation, one South Africa, one Zimbabwe, one Africa. So no, let's have peace, guys. Let's just unite and try to correct each other as we are going ahead. TN chiwoneko video iche, guys.
The family, apparently, the Lungu family, doesn't have a problem with President Lungu being buried in Zambia. They just don't want His Excellency President HH to be present. How can that be resolved?
They just have to go and deal with the burial. Let's deal with these other personal grievances that we have. We're still living. The living should not use the dead to fight. Basically, that's the start and end of it. The living should not use the dead as a tool in their fight. So what they simply need to do, bury him and sort out your differences later. We have seen this even in a micro environment within the family, that we have people that are actually saying, this man had a second wife, a third wife, and a girlfriend, and the other ones are saying, we don't want the girlfriend to come here. But that girlfriend was part of this dead person's life. They want to come and pay their respects. Whether you like them or not, allow them to come and pay their respects. Continue with your fight later. But for that day, in that period of mourning, let's not fight. Let's bury. What is mourning and what is burial? We are there for one purpose, to put someone to rest. Let's put someone to rest. If we have personal differences, let's put our differences aside for that.
Yeah, that's true. Some of these things we have to sort it out later, because in our African culture, we don't need to fight on the funeral. I don't see it, you know how it is. It's not allowed in our African culture, in Ubuntu. You can't fight at the funeral. No way, yeah. Muntafuna bwe che yako nyama. Waigwira. Rest in peace, Honorable Lungu. Always funny, you know, I always support Africans. Me, I'm African, so I'm not saying I'm from this country, but I'm a Pan-African. So let's do Ubuntu, guys. Funa bwere che mdara che tacha ngumba che tacha nyama. You know how it is. So guys, let's watch.
And afterwards we can pick up our own fights. We are still here to fight.
Okay. The Constitution of Zambia states that in the case of the former president of Zambia, President Lungu, it states that if someone rejoins politics, and I'm sure you know, every former president is entitled to benefits. And
yes,
President Lungu had rejoined politics, and the Constitution or the law stripped him of all those benefits simply because he became active again in politics. So he was eating years from his pockets. The government was no longer looking after Lungu. He was taking care of his private matters as a private citizen. So now that he is gone,
it does not excuse him from being a former head of state. And by virtue of being former head of state, he's supposed to be accorded a state funeral. That does not excuse him. Personal issues aside, the issue here is these people in PF and the family are letting emotion cloud their judgment. The judgment of this issue is not clear. They don't have a clarion vision of this. We can go back to the same Lungu, because I believe it was President Lungu that was in power when Kenneth Kaunda died. Kenneth Kaunda's family might have wished for him to be buried alongside his wife, but then they were persuaded not to and bury him where these former heads of state are designated to be buried. So it is the same Lungu that convinced the family of Kaunda to bury Kaunda away from their family farm and in that place that they've set aside to bury their leaders. Now, these guys are trying to weaponize a corpse for political reasons, political expediency. It doesn't make any sense. The nation is mourning. It is a national figure. Love him or loathe him as Zambians, he was your president. And presidents, even according to the Zambian constitution, there's a protocol that needs to be followed when a president dies. So the family can say they disagree with HH, but they should follow the protocol and procedures that have always been there.
I think on that one, that's true. Vamdara funa pumure che. Vapumure che easy, rest in peace. These issues, we settle them aside, you know what it is. Paribenkana pama guys. Tieni che tuone ko yenda cha video bunch.
Put there for a reason. Why are they saying, oh, because he removed state facilities for Lungu? That's personal. That's not national. That's not a national thing. They can always fight about this later. But for now, the people of Zambia deserve to see their former president buried in their land. They have a period of mourning. They go through that mourning period. They are our brothers. They are our sisters. We've gone through something similar. But we resolved our things. Even anyone that knows Zimbabwe, any right-thinking Zimbabwean would say it was right for Robert Mugabe to be buried in Zimbabwe. Was it right?
Yeah, that's true. Bobo takatota avigo kuZimside because muZimbabwe ndiye son of the soil wacho ailida kuti vanhu vese ngavigwe kuZimbabwe. So ipapo totipa support kuti munhu ngaavigwe kwaanobva, kwaanogara. Kwete zvekuviga namatondo because izvo zvandiri kuchera vanhu vari kubva kuMozambique vafira kuMozambique nguva yehondo chiti ngavauye vavigwe kumba. Munoona kuvigwa kumba kwakakosha. Alright. Atone video. Let's watch this video, guys. Sorry, I'm just mixing these languages because me I speak a lot of languages. So mina ngikhulumuthi sifuna ubona umuntu wethu abuye lapha eAfrica. Sifuna ukuthi zime njani. Ekhaya ngekhaya vele awusoze uhambe eMzansi ukukhuluma umuntu usufuna udlala uhlalile ethu eMzansi akwenze khonokho. So sifuna sibambene so sibantu abamnyama thina sifuna sikhulumisane sifuna ukuthi ano indabani intoni inkinga intoni ehluphayo vele sibonisana ukuthi no ma-Africans umuntu munye ubuntu sikhambela omunye uyabona nje phela. So that's what this video, guys, and share our comments, and then let's not forget to subscribe. Mr. C. Shamwarero, and we will discuss real stories and real issues. So let's watch, guys.
Right for him to be buried in his rural home. Many might disagree and say this man is the one that taught us what the Hero's Acre is, but he's not there. What they took it personal. They are national issues. They are personal issues. This is a family taking matters into their own hands and saying we're making it personal to a person that actually should belong to all of us, as to all Zambians, as a statesman, as a leader of government at one point, as a head of state, as a head of the military and every other organization and organ that was in Zambia. He was a president. Why take him away now and want to make him private? Yet he was a public figure.
No, we understand you saying that they should not get their emotions, feelings, or make this personal. But based on the history of these two, President HH and President Lungu, there's a lot that has happened between the two of them. They were not really good friends politically. They've done things.
Those are personal issues. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Right now, Joe Biden and Trump are not friends. These guys have had a big political fight, and Trump won. Joe Biden is probably in the sunset of his life. When Joe Biden dies, Trump, the very guy that was calling him Sleepy Joe, this, and insulting him throughout the campaign, will be the one spearheading the whole process of a head of state, a former president. Joe Biden is always going to be President Joe Biden. Barack Obama is always going to be President Barack Obama. This is something different from what we are calling in our culture, in our tradition, and these are people that are now operating at what we are calling a state level.
I think on that one, I'm in support of you, my brother. That's good points, because I think in Africa we have a funny political attachment. You know how it is. We need to learn from South Africa, our neighboring country. Let's do clean politics. That's how it is. Even at work, there are politics. So let's not take politics personal. You personalize politics. That's how it is. We need to enjoy politics that way. That's how it is. Thank you, guys. Let's watch. Let's see.
This is what politics is about.
Yes.
The states, statesmanship, and their head of states, they behave differently. There's something, a protocol that is set for each nation. Imagine tomorrow, God forbid, Barack Obama is said to have just died, and then Kenya says we will take him, we'll bury him in Kenya.
It can't. It can't work. Yeah, it can, but it can't. It's an embarrassment. So guys, uona che naona ko Malema chepa saubenze vutana maningi na Jacob Zuma. Muiona guys, but I was surprised Malema visited Jacob Zuma, which is good. I always see Malema fighting with a political way, not a personal, no, politics. That's how it is. You need to have an arrival on politics. Even kumanchito kwa mene muvutana che kumanchito. So what's wrong with the politics? So uona wenzo vutana Malema na Jacob Zuma next, and then Malema na Ramaphosa. But now they're in parliament, they discuss, they drink coffee together. You know how it is. That's what we need to do. We share our views and comments. Guys, this is how we think. Let's not fight in Africa. It's not fair. We have to, love each other, unity, peace. You know how it is. Politics, that's how politics is. Campaign. It's time as football. If you know, let's fight for ballot. You know how it is. Let's watch, guys, and share our comments. Let's not forget to subscribe. Let's support dream builders. If you are in Zambia, please support dream builders. If you funa kuma plot chema, guys, anga mfuna maenda magura chema plot kuwa dream builders. Ndiye chewa anga kupaseni maplot abwino maningi kumakeni maplot aripo, and then kenda kukafiwe maplot ariko deva o cheaper ma 50 by 50, 70 by 70, you know, starting from 50 pin unga pese plot to 300,000 pin, 300,000 kwacha, guys. Ungatenge ku plot che wankara na family ufuna panga ku business. Let's support these guys, that genuine reality. Let's watch the video, guys. Let's subscribe. Let's push and share. Mr. C. Shamari Rwendo, we will discuss real stories and real issues. Let's watch.
Americans will be up in arms. They'll say, no, you can't do that. This is the same thing that Zambians should be saying to South Africa. They should be saying to South Africa, you cannot bury our president in your land.
That's true.
He didn't die in exile. He went for medical attention, died there. It's a different thing when you talk about someone that went into exile. Uganda had a president that was Idi Amin. He died somewhere in Saudi Arabia. He's buried there, but he was in exile. But why put Lungu into exile in death, and then say when we are free, when we are free of HH, we'll bring him back? Why hold the nation to ransom? This, to me, has some criminal element to it. There's something that you're manipulating a situation of grief. It's not right.
So are you saying the family of Lungu? Are you saying the family of Lungu doesn't have a say as to where their father
do have a say.
or husband should be buried?
They do have a say. But what national interest trumps family interest? This is not an ordinary man. This is not a guy that was just a school teacher somewhere. No,
that's true.
He's a president.
So
he's a president of a nation, former president. So there's protocol that needs to be followed.
So
but they are now saying they do have a say
as to where President Lumumba should be buried.
They do have a say, but their say is not any heavier than that of the nation. The nation here, Lungu belongs to Zambia before he belongs to the family.
Kairi ni Mzambinu mdara, ni mdara waja, ni Mzambinu wafuna bwere chepa zedi. Guys, ndiye che wabwera chepa zedi mdara. Wezo wapumura che. We enjoy to see the big man wapumureko che. That's what I think. It's good, you know. Me, I've been South Africa, but I just move along Africa. I just move up and down. So 10 guys to next video che msakari pa guys 10 tuonesane che tikamsane vazona muona bwanji wamdara abwereka wapumureko che tenda tashoka nyama che tamwako che celebrate together, guys. Kairi
because of him being a former head of state.
God,
this is the truth of the matter.
Yes.
But the family is making it difficult out of this, and unfortunately the PF, the party that Lungu belonged to, is now using this as a springboard to try and besmirch President HH. I have no political affiliation or
same as me, no political affiliation. Tikamsana che tuone sana vazona che kuti yapa Africa funa tuone sana vazona, not to hide anything. Let's be realistic, guys. That's why I say real stories, real issues, lifestyle and entertainment. You will focus much into real issues, real stories. So there's story, guys. Funa tuone sana che vamdara funa bwere che pazedi wapumureko che. Not ije vutika mwavutisa muntafu na pumire che vazona che, guys. What do you think? My guys anga pasa obey. I love you, guys. I love you. I miss you so much. Sifuna sibone umuntu aphume lapha eMzansi ebuye lapha vele sibonisana buye khona. Umuntu wathu lo. Vazona.
Or support for either Lungu or Lungu's former party or HH's party. I have not Zambia. I'm talking without emotion, with that's clarity, true. And without partisan connections here. So let's not make this a party political. Zambians should not make this a party political thing. They should make it a national thing.
Fair. That's true.
This is this is where the difference is.
I'm saying, so what the government says goes.
No, it's not. You see what PF is going to be doing here. They don't say government. They are personalizing it to saying HH. It's now an individual. This is why when a president speaks, right, the president is two people in one. There's the person of the president, and then there's the head of state.
Yes.
This is why when they speak,
people.
when they have a speech, I had the privy to seeing some of speeches that presidents write. They start off by saying, as head of state of government and in my personal capacity. That means as head of state and as head of state, HH is obliged to pass a message of condolence, to lead and do everything that is necessary for the burial of the former president. In his personal capacity, he might have chosen that I didn't like this guy, I don't want to do this. But he's not obliged to say, in my personal capacity, I don't want to do this. Because he has to act as head of state and not in his personal capacity. But however, I wanted to make that clarity and that division, that even when they speak, they would say, in my personal capacity and in my capacity as head of state. So that means they're splitting this one person into two. There's a personal side of HH and...
Okay guys, today, forgive me, I'm going to do part 2 of the same video today. Thank you for watching. Let's support Dream Builders, one of our sponsors. Let's support Easy Life Advertising Agency. Let's not forget to subscribe, guys, like, share, and drop your comments. So guys, today I'm going to drop it here. Let's not get upset, guys. So to those who want land in Zambia, please contact me, drop your message. I'm going to respond to you. If you funako che plot pakafiyo paja, guys, bwerani manuza nikugulisira na cheap price, guys, ma 70 by 70, 50 by 50. Even if you need a commercial plot for business, we are able to help you, guys. So let's not forget to subscribe, guys, comment and share and drop your view. Uona branch uganza branch, guys. For those who want digital marketing, please contact me. If you need a website, if you need branding, if you need advertising, contact us. We are able to help you, guys. Let's not forget to like and share. Easy Life Advertising Agency is there for you. If you need your branding, anything to do with web designing, barcodes, if you need graphic designing, if you need roadshow, if you need just any form of advertising, please contact me. I'm able to help you, guys. Drop your message. We are able to share with you information that you need. Easy Life Advertising Agency will be there for you. Thank you for watching, guys. Let's subscribe in numbers.